Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, guys, this morning it's going to be a quick one because I've got a lot to do. Snow is forecast. We have got an 85% chance of being hit by snow tonight. So I want to make sure I've got everything in order. But listen, guys, things are going to get a lot worse in the United Kingdom before they get better. We are going to be talking about the budget that's on its way, some predictions that I'm going to talk about what I said previously. I'm going to talk about what the internet's saying now. Also, immigration, guys, Shabina Mahmood, she came out the other day and she's put down her new tough barriers to get into the United Kingdom. Well, it turns out if you actually look at these new tough barriers, it's actually a lot worse. Now we're having a situation in the United Kingdom where we could be giving people over £20,000 to leave the United Kingdom. Can you imagine that, guys? Okay, people come here illegally and we give them £20,000 to leave. Like, if I decide to leave and go and live in Ukraine, are people, is the government going to give me an extra, nice little 20 grand in the back pocket to go and live in Ukraine? I don't know. Is that a thing? Does everybody get 20 grand now if they want to leave the United Kingdom? So we are going to be talking about all this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, guys, let me reiterate this again, okay? It's going to be a relatively short live stream this morning. I've got a ton of stuff to do this morning. I've got to go and resupply gas bottles. I've got to go get some. I've got 50 litres of beer I need to take out of a keg. Sorry, I need to take out of a fermenter, put into bottles, put into a keg. I've also got some paid work I need to do. I've got some invoices to send. I've got wood to chop. I've got to bring a load of stuff in because snow is coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get on to this. And we are going to start by sharing a video with you fine people. So this is a video from GB News. And it talks about how Labour are lying to everybody. And I think they are as well, guys. So let me just share with you guys this video real quick.
I was thinking to myself, the point.
So they're talking here about the they're talking here about the new tough, the new tough immigration policy from the Labour Party. And if you guys listen to this guy, what he's saying is, people go through this with a toothpick. It's not a tough policy at all. It's a very soft policy. And we could be paying as UK taxpayers up to, do you know what, actually, he actually says, I think that, well, the numbers he says is 27,000 euros. I couldn't be bothered to work that out, but I said over £20,000 per migrant. Unbelievable. So let's just play this video and I will be pausing this at various points. We are triple streaming, guys. Make sure you like, comment and all that stuff.
Point is, was it firm enough or is it just yet more hotter? Well, over the weekend, as they were trailing this policy document, I was thinking to myself, well, my neck, they're talking quite tough here. They're putting in place maybe a set of measures that would actually go further than the last Conservative government were able to manage. I think actually now what we've seen, this document has been published. Effectively, we were being spun really a pack of lies. This is
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the United Kingdom, like at this point, do you believe anything that the government say? Like anything? Do you believe anything? Like, do you actually believe anything? I mean, where's this grooming gangs inquiry? The two guys who had fisticuffs in Manchester Airport, when are they getting sentenced? This is the rhetoric, and this is what I'm seeing with my basic pattern recognition skills is people get angry, governments say they're going to do something, but don't tell you when they're going to do it, and then it never happens. This is basic pattern recognition, guys, and things are not going to get better. I promise you, things are going to get a lot worse before there's even any hope of them hope of them getting better.
Policy document that goes nowhere near addressing the fundamental issues. It would actually end up potentially opening up a large, uncapped at the moment, scheme for safe and legal routes. We don't really know the purviews of that yet. We don't know how many people. We don't know from where. I think really actually what they've done is they've tried to hide a lot of pretty soft measures behind tough rhetoric. So much of the discourse over the weekend was focused on this idea that jewellery was going to be seized by asylum seekers to pay for the costs of processing them. I am now...
Just for context, guys, okay, what they're saying there, taking jewellery, off asylum seekers when they come to the United Kingdom. I think that is absolutely disgusting. I'm going to be honest, guys. You know, I'm going to be absolutely honest. You know, even for me, that is distasteful and that should not happen. You know, the fact that it was floated around, even that made me feel icky. Not a chance. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And again, like, you know, I know what people are saying, you know, these criminals coming over with these big gold chains on, etc. Yeah, I get that. You know, I really do get that. That's not going to have the desired effect. It's not going to have an effect I would want. Anyway, we need to close the borders, all right? None of this flim-flammering. Just literally stop those boats. It's very simple. You don't need, you know, you don't, like, two people, what was it, Danny Tomo and somebody else went over, and like between Danny Tomo and that other guy, they did more on a budget of maybe a couple £100 than all our millions that have gone into France. So it's very easy to stop the boats, guys. It's very easy. So anybody saying that we're going to cause, we're going to pass this new bill, this new legislation that needs scrutiny through Parliament, it's all waffle, guys. The time is over. It's done. Things are going to get worse.
I'm convinced that the only reason that was ever even doing the rounds in the media was to sort of make people think that red meat was being thrown and that actually this government was going to do whatever it takes to give the taxpayers of this country a fair deal. But now we've seen the actual policy documents, I'm convinced that actually Mahmood has really caved into her backbenchers, has actually done probably a proposal here that would put us in a worse situation than we already are.
So the tough immigration policy by, what's her name, Shabina Mahmood, the tough immigration policy by Shabina Mahmood it turns out is going to put us in a worse situation. Martin Quinn on TikTok, just quickly, guys, Martin Quinn's commenting on TikTok. He's saying, UK government said it was out of order cutting the wires on the engines. We should put trackers on. I said that as well, didn't I? Find out our government, the gangs that are bringing them in and out. Yeah, I think we're all under the same conclusion that there is no such thing as criminal smuggling gangs. Well, they are, and they sit in Westminster.
One thing that leapt out straight away was the increase in the money.
Just listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, just listen to these numbers now. Listen to these numbers, because if this doesn't make you understand how much in a shitstorm we are right now, I don't know what does. Listen to these numbers, guys.
Paid to people to get them to leave our country. It's currently capped at £3,000 per illegal immigrant in Denmark. The scheme that's being emulated, it's an astonishing €27,000 per person. It's about 25 grand. Rob Bates, I put it to you, it's bad enough that we pay £500 for an Ethiopian rapist to leave the country. 25 grand for somebody who's come here illegally to leave the country. That's taking the rise.
Okay, so what they're saying there is, sorry guys, at the beginning I said 20 grand because I didn't want to work it out. It is about 25 grand. Okay, so can you imagine? So, okay, let's go with the Ethiopian. Okay, so let's go with the Ethiopian at the Bell Hotel. All right, this is fact. This is fact. Okay, Ethiopian got charged with sexual offences in the United Kingdom, sentenced to prison, got let out of prison by mistake, and then didn't do any prison time, just got sent home with money in his pocket. So essentially, he came over here, committed a crime against the girl, a sexual crime against the girl, and we put some money in his pocket and flew him home. I saw the footage of him getting off that plane in Ethiopia. He wasn't in handcuffs. He wasn't in handcuffs. He was just getting off a plane in Ethiopia. Like, I can't say with 100% certainty that he is in jail in Ethiopia. I can't say that. What I can say is he's not committed a crime. Well, I don't know if he's committed a crime in Ethiopia, but he didn't commit that crime in Ethiopia. So where's the legal system whereby he will be sent to prison in Ethiopia? I would speculate that that guy committed a sexual offense against the girl, a child, in the United Kingdom, and as punishment, they put some money in his pocket and put him on a flight home. Where's the incentive to not commit crime in the United Kingdom? If you're a migrant right now, Where's the incentive not to commit crime? Ladies and gentlemen, the only way out of this right now is the voting. Done. Forget about it. Voting. We are literally paying criminals not to harm us. Oh, please. Oh, please. Here's £25,000 if you don't harm me. Fuck off. Give me £1,000. Give me £1,000 per head and I'll get rid of 25. Legally, obviously. It's unbelievable what's happening, guys. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, it's phenomenal. £25,000. So every boat that comes over with, I don't know, every time you see 1,000 people, every time you see 1,000 people, we've had 1,000 people hit our shores today. Yeah, do the maths, ladies and gentlemen, because once you start giving this money out to people to leave, that's going to be a bigger incentive. You see where I'm going with this, guys, okay? Right, you're coming over from France. If it does cost you 1,800 euros, right, lads, do you want to earn yourself 18 grand? Yeah, well, give me, not even 20. Do you want to earn 23 grand? Do you want to earn £23,000? Oh, yeah, I'll have some of it. Right, give me 1,000. They might even put the prices up. Give me 2,000. Get yourself over to the UK. Stay in a hotel for a couple of months. They'll give you 20 grand and you come back. Boom, 18 grand in the skyrocket. And then guess what? They'll just come back again. They'll just come back. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to the words that they are saying right now. Listen to that and let that sink in. The government are proposing, as these guys are saying, the government are proposing paying 25,000 or thereabouts, up to £25,000 for migrants to leave the country.
And that figure will probably over the next few years continue to rise in terms of the amount we're offering asylum seekers or illegal migrants to leave the country if we don't make it perfectly clear that the Home Office and immigration enforcement is going to move heaven and earth to make sure that any illegal migrant in this country is identified, detained and deported. Because if you don't make individuals think that there is a real threat of them being put in a detention facility and removed from the country, then they're more likely to hold out for more and more money, effectively wanting a bigger bribe than they would otherwise be given. And
so I'm going to ask you this question, guys, okay? I'm going to ask you guys this question. Martin Quinn actually saying, and we could do day trips, how many on a boat? Yeah, you know what, we should. We should just bring people over. Luz Luxford is saying, and who will pay for it? Yeah, exactly. The taxpayers are going to pay for it. So consider this, guys, all right? Consider this, all right? You're there in like a mud hut somewhere, and somebody's telling you, you're sat there in like some mud hut in some wild part of the world, and the average salary, is like maybe £1,000 a year. The average salary is like £1,000 a year. And then somebody says to you, right, if you come to the United Kingdom, these are your options, right? You're either A, going to get given 3 meals a day, a hotel and a free house afterwards, or B, a hotel, 3 meals a day, and B, and 20 times your annual salary, and then you'll be sent back home. Tell me, guys, is that a deterrent or is that a pull factor? I don't know. If you're in the government are claiming that that is a deterrent. That is a deterrent. I'm claiming that this is an actual pull factor. So what do you think, guys? What do you think? I don't know. I mean, obviously, in my brain, I'm thinking that's a pull factor, but obviously I don't have the intellectual weight and capacity. Shabina Mahmood, she's the one there in government. She's the one making these decisions. So, obviously, as far as she's concerned, this is going to be a deterrent.
I think we need to really recognise actually that the immigration enforcement system in this country has been so woeful that we've effectively relied for far too long on voluntary returns to make up a bulk of people being removed from this country. So we've almost got our priorities askew in that regard. I think we need to really increase the amount we give to this organisation, immigration enforcement. Its budget is actually smaller than some county councils' annual budgets. So just to give you a scale of sort of how emaciated this organisation actually is. So look, the whole plan was billed as something that was going to be completely transformative, but all I can really see and all that is standing out to me here is this creation of safe and legal routes where she's going to be cooperating with voluntary organisations, and we know what they're like when it comes to open borders, and we're going to be cooperating with the UN High Commissioner for Refugees as well, who has currently identified, tens of millions of people around the world who are eligible for resettlement in the West. How many of those individuals are going to end up finding their way to Britain because of Shabana Mahmood's open-ended promise to create safe and legal routes?
So there we are, guys, okay? It doesn't look like things are getting any better. Well, all this tough talk and this tough rhetoric. Like, for me, the biggest smoking gun in that... Oh, I've not got the chat on. Sorry, guys, I've not got the chat on. I do apologise. For me, the biggest smoking gun there is... Can you imagine that, guys? Like, if you're sat there in France or wherever, you've made your way up through North Africa, you've made your way up through the Middle East, maybe even you're a criminal gang, maybe even you're in a criminal gang. Where is the deterrent to come to the United Kingdom? Literally, I only see literally, and I'll be honest, guys, if you are in, it's a fair gig. It's a good gig. It's literally like, if you're sat there, let me just Google this. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, this is going to be a relatively short live stream. Martin Quinn is saying, just got a warning talking to you, political. Yeah, look, guys, Martin Quinn saying, just got a warning. Look, guys, I am triple streaming this morning. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, and I am on X. For the reasons that Martin Quinn is saying there, I will be turning the TikTok off relatively soon, because I keep getting restricted. I've got a nice hot cup. Well, it's not that hot anymore. I've got a nice warm cup of Joe here. And I do want to have a cup of Joe. Like, I got restricted the other day on TikTok. I don't even know why. No idea why I got restricted on TikTok earlier. But I will be closing you guys down on TikTok in like what time? I'll close you guys down on TikTok in like a quarter past, and then I will be jumping over and I will just be streaming on YouTube and X. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, and I'm the Real Raven 1 on X, and I will continue this live stream. And you guys can say whatever you want on YouTube and X. But yeah, right, let me get some of the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Right, James is saying, I literally can't imagine where this country is going. Well, I can, but it ain't good. Doomed. Look, guys, we are, the light in the tunnel here, and there is light in the tunnel, but it's not for us. Well, it is for us. The light in the tunnel is Gen Z. Absolutely Gen Z, guys. Gen Z, they are, as far as I'm concerned, guys, Gen Z are the light in the tunnel. Those guys are going to be monsters. Those guys are going to rebuild this country, but this country is going to be broken. The government, look, guys, just from what I just said, I will jump onto the chat in a second. From what the government have just said, their deterrent, the government's main deterrent to stop illegal migrants coming to the United Kingdom is to offer them around £25,000 to leave. That's their deterrent. That's their logic. Anyway, guys, right, I'm gonna close you guys down now on TikTok. I'm gonna close you guys down on TikTok, and if you're not jumping over to YouTube, guys, I will be back on later today back on later today at 8, and I'll be doing videos throughout the day, guys. I'll be doing videos throughout the day. I've got lots of stuff to do. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good morning on TikTok, and I'm just going to be streaming on YouTube and X now. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, and I'm the Real Raven 1 on X also. And we are off. Right, let me click some buttons. Jared is saying, no, Debbie Doobs, because there isn't bombs dropping in the UK. You're also going to risk your life on a dinghy. I don't know what that was. Destiny Workman is saying, government are fucking idiots. Just close. Exactly, guys. It's not hard, is it? Look, it's easy. We all know what to do. Like, did you guys see? Look, guys, I don't know if you've seen Destiny Workman. I don't know if you've seen the video that. Go on. I don't know if you've seen the video that what's his name, Danny Tomo did. He went out to France and they were stopping people. They literally went out to France and they were stopping people. I think there was just two guys and maybe a cameraman, or maybe they were like filming each other. I don't know. I've said to you guys many times, I could close the gangs down, like finished. They would be finished within 12 months, and it would cost, what did I say? I said 1.3 million. I would close the gangs down for 1.3 million. They wouldn't, they'll be closed. And that video that Danny Tomo did, it just showed you guys how easy it would be to close these gangs down. And of course, you know, I don't think there is gangs, but there are, you know, instead of calling them gang leaders, let's call them points of contact. Let's call them POCs. All right. So gang leaders or points of contact, it's easy. It's so easy. You say, right, mate, you take an interpreter out with you. You say, mate, where do I turn up to get on the boat? Can I meet you? You say, yeah. When you see him, you get that gentleman and you persuade him then to come with you back to the United Kingdom and you put him in jail. Simple, done. Very easy to do, guys. I've done a fair bit of that in my time. Don. Priv Caro is saying that would also give the criminals the opportunity to send people in boats, let the people on the boats get back with the money and take the money from those. It's insane, guys. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. You know, right now, this is not going to get any better, guys. This is absolutely not going to get any better. Gilly is saying 25 grand would make such a difference to my life. It's so frustrating that all this money is being given to these people who have no right to be here. Gilly, with a fantastic, Gilly, I love your thumbnail. You are a perfect pink. You're a fantastic pink fairy. You're a fantastic, Gilly, the fantastic pink fairy. I agree. You know, it's when I think about this, you know, and I think about my nan. They're not here now. They're dead. My nan and granddad, when like, you know, my nan and granddad, when they were alive, I can caffeinate myself now. Yeah, my nan and granddad, when they were alive, like, it would be absolutely freezing. And they would just be saying, it's not cold, it's not cold, it's not cold. They would not have the heating on until it was like ridiculously, like, you know, like minus whatever. And they would always, you know, be careful about where they were shopping and what they were buying. And, you know, they were always, you know, my granddad was always looking at the electric meter and the gas meter and writing it down and, you know, and looking, oh yeah, we've used this much, we pay this much per unit or whatever. I always remember that. You know, and going outside and like where the meter, I don't know where people's meters are, but they had a meter outside and it was like in this little, like a little plastic box or something, literally like the same as we've got. And he'd go out with his little notebook on a Monday or whatever, and he'd take the readings and then he'd go in the house and he'd say, yeah, on our tariff, we're paying, I don't know, whatever pence per kilowatt, and he'd write it down and he'd say, yeah, that's our estimated bill this week or this month or whatever. And I mean, I guess he was the OG smart meter. And I think how, I think about I think about like other families and other old people and, you know, just other families who are struggling, you know, and they're paying taxes. And it's absolutely heartbreaking, guys. It's heartbreaking. One of the examples I used to give is imagine you are a young couple. You know, you're a young couple in your, you know, early 20s. You know, early 20s. You've maybe like got a kid, maybe got two kids. You know, you've just moved in together and you've gone for that house. You've gone for that house on that estate. because that's what you think you should do. You want everybody, you want to be keeping up with the Joneses. You want everybody to look at you. You want everybody to look at you and think, oh God, they're doing so well. You're both working jobs, and through no fault of your own, because of Rachel Reeves, ultimately, guys, I'm going to say it, because of migration, because we have to pay these migrants, ultimately, the employer taxes have gone up, and employer national insurance has gone up, and that company or that employer has had to let you go. They say, look, I'm sorry, but I can't afford this much staff now. I'm going to have to let some people go. So they let you go. And now you're struggling. And all your tax money that you've been paying all your life, you don't get anything now. You don't get put up in a hotel. You don't get your heating paid for. It's sad. It's sad how many millions of people are in the United Kingdom who are in that situation right now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I am going to have to cut this live stream short, but I've got a few things I need to get through first. Okay, so I want to talk about the budget. I want to talk about the budget that's on its way. Now, I asked Grok to give me a rundown, because I can't find it. It's hard for me to find this stuff. So I asked Grok to correlate this for me. So so previously on a live stream or a video or whatever, I said the 3 areas that I believe are going up is going to be fuel. I think these are inevitable. Fuel, tobacco, and alcohol. Anyway, so remember, guys, this is going to happen in 10 days, 9 days, I guess, whichever metric you're looking at. Oh, no, it's even less now, isn't it? 8 days, a week tomorrow, guys. This is happening. Sorry, a week tomorrow. So likely tax and cost increases in Rachel Reeves' autumn budget, November 26th. So this is what Grok is basing on recent UK headlines and analysis from major outlets. BBC, and again, guys, I totally understand the BBC, and I get it, but that's the information we're going from, because we don't have any other information. So I'm just going to run these through, guys. Okay. Income tax threshold. So freeze personal allowance and higher tax rates for an additional 2 years. So I'm not sure if that's going up, or it may go up slightly, 1 to 2 pence per pound. There's going to be a cap on tax-free pension contributions via salary sacrifice. Now, this is a dastardly move, guys. This is a dastardly move. Now, I didn't realize what salary sacrifice was, but a lot of people, when they go to work, they may get paid that threshold. So it may be like they're on that threshold. Say the threshold, I don't know what the thresholds are. Say the threshold is like 50 grand or whatever, and you get paid, your salary is 51. The employer will say to you, right, mate, do you want me to bring your salary sacrifice down and just put an extra 2 grand in your pension pot? It's a no-brainer, because then you actually get more money, and you get more. It's better for everyone. It's a workaround. So Rachel Reeves is clamping down on that, so people can't put as much money in the pensions now. Electric vehicles, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. It is here. So it's looking like Rachel Reeves is going to crack on 3 pence per mile from, she's going to be putting on a charge for electric vehicles, which is going to be 3 pence per mile. Doesn't sound like much, does it? Here, riddle me this, riddle me that, Batman. Do you think at every budget after this one, she's going to, it's 3 pence a mile, it's 4 pence a mile, it's 5 pence a mile? What do you think, guys? Do you think that's coming? I would say it is. Fuel duty. Fuel duty is set to increase. We don't know how much that's going to increase by. But the fuel duty, this is going to be the first time in 15 years, which could add £100 up to your yearly petrol and diesel bill. Now, people think, oh, it's only a little bit of money, but that, that's not where the real cost comes in. The real cost on fuel duty is diesel, and the real cost is at haulage companies, delivery companies, like go on, like Tesco, Asda, Aldi, Lidl, B&M, all these shops, all these supermarkets that get stuff delivered in trucks. Well, guess what? Their costs going up. So guess what? The cost of the goods is going up. So that will affect the cost of everything. That will cost, the cost of everything will go up, guys. Absolutely everything will go up because of that fuel bill. Landlords' national insurance. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? And I'm getting this off Grok. 8%. There's going to be an 8% increase in landlords' national insurance. So that is a huge increase. Remember what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Remember what I've been saying for a long time. They're trying to get rid of all those smaller, those smaller people who maybe, the people who've like, and again, I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know, maybe you're in your 40s or whatever, or you're divorced and you've got your own house, it's paid for, and you meet someone and they've got their own house and it's paid for, and you decide to live together, and you're like, well, do you know what? We don't actually need that money. We're both working. We're just going to rent it out. Well, it turns out they're coming after you. They want to destroy those people. They don't want those people. They want all those houses given to the big multinational companies. And once that, guys, I promise you, this will happen in a couple of years. Once that's happened, once that saturation point has happened, and all the big multinationals, all these big corporations, international corporations, own a significant amount of the houses in the United Kingdom, guess what? They will lower all these taxes to make it more profitable for the landlords. Inheritance tax, there's going to be a lifetime cap on tax-free gifts. Ridiculous, guys. Absolutely ridiculous. So you've worked all your life, you've maybe, I don't know, you've maybe got $1 million in the bank or whatever, or I don't know, whatever you've worked at, and you think, right, you know what? I've worked all my life. I've paid tax on all this money all my life. I want to give my kids the best start. No, if you die, it's your fault. You get a death tax. ISAs, cash ISAs, they're changing them from, you can't have 20 grand in a saving account anymore. That's going down to 10 grand with possibly offset with 5 grand for British ISAs for UK shares. Unbelievable. Right, there's a lot more taxes, guys. Okay, property taxes, stamp duty, mansion taxes. I want to jump down here because I want to jump down to this, guys, because this is a big thing for me. Okay, so there's been significant discussions about this. Sorry, there's been significant discussions and speculation in the UK headlines about increases in alcohol duties. This is like the alcohol duty is going to, like fuel, alcohol duty has a wider reaching effect, because it's not just Mick and John who like to have a beer in their living room. This is a whole industry. This is a whole industry of hospitality. So where are we? Duty increase mechanism. Right, hang on. I've got it somewhere down here. Right, okay. So I've got it here, guys. Okay, I've got it here. Get ready for this, guys. This is wild. Okay, this is wild. Okay, so this is what Grok's telling me. All right, this is what Grok's telling me. So. Where are we? It looks like a bottle of wine is going to go up 20%. Yeah, 20%, 20 pence in the pound. Sorry, a bottle of high alcohol wine. So 14% ABV, high alcohol wine. So that would be like red wines, I guess, is going to go up 20%. You're up to 13.5%. I wonder what 14 exactly would be, whatever, is going to go up 12%. A bottle of gin, it says, I don't know, it says current duty is 11.50. That's going to go up by another 52 pence. I don't know what that means. Draft beer is going to go up. There's going to be a slight increase in draft beer of 1.7%. Now, this is because, and this is the government's insanity, right? This is the government's insanity, all right? Raising taxes does not get you more money. I promise you guys, raising taxes gets you less money. Do you know how we know this? Do you know how I know that raising taxes gets you more money? Look at the figures, guys. Okay, look at the figures. Look at the figures. The government had a 22 billion black hole, if you believe that. Some people are now saying that's turned into a £100 billion black hole. And every chance that the government have, they've raised taxes. So it does look like, from that, using that as an analysis, raising taxes lowers revenue. Here's a good little example here, guys, okay? Revenue generation, alcohol duties currently raise 3 billion annually, but have fallen 300 million short this year due to decline in sales. So you put the price of something up, less people buy it. You get less money. That's how it works, guys. That is literally capitalism 101. You make something too expensive, nobody buys it, you go out of business. That's the reality. That is literally the reality. So there we are, guys. Okay, nothing. It doesn't look like anything good is coming to the budget. Right, where are we? Martin Quinn is, Lisa Jane, 20% on a bottle of wine. That is a lot. That is huge. James Brook, let me be clear, guys. Okay, this is 20% on a bottle of high strength wine. So they're saying it's a 14.5%. And look, guys, these are estimates. I need to caveat this, actually, guys, okay? Until the budget is actually released, all these are estimates, okay? We don't know what they're actually going to be. But, you know, these are the numbers that we are getting right now. And these are numbers that Grok's managed to pull from mainstream news articles. So, yes, 20% on a bottle of high-strength wine, and I think 12.5% on a bottle of, like, average strength wine. James Book is saying it's daylight robbery, this budget. I'm going to place an order for Sean's moonshine cider. Talk of freezing personal tax gains. And then Gilly's saying when everything becomes too expensive, people stop buying. It's not rocket science. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. Look, like I said before, okay, with the migration policies into the United Kingdom, I don't see how offering people 25 grand to leave is a deterrent. I don't know. I'm not in government, guys. So, you know, maybe there's some sort of yes, but actually, because, I don't get that. I think a deterrent would be putting the military on the border and sending them back. I think a deterrent would be putting the military on the shores and saying, right, soon as you get in here, you're arrested, you're plastic cuffed, you put on it and you're sent to prison for breaking into our country. I think that would be a deterrent. I think that would be a deterrent. I do. But, who knows? Who am I, ladies and gentlemen? Who am I? Right, let me jump down and get some more of these comments. So they blame the sales losing money for the country, but they give billions away and spaff the money up the wall. Exactly, guys. And Debbie Dubes is saying, Merry Christmas, everyone. So what I would say, if you do drink, maybe now is the time to stock up. Obviously, that's not financial advice, guys. I'm just saying, if you drink wine or, I don't know, whatever. But beer, it does look like beer's not going up that much. I mean, I think that's because it's gone up quite a lot, quite considerably anyway. B&M was empty yesterday despite the shelves being full to overload. B&M was empty. Oh, right. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. People are not buying. People are not buying. People are not spending. Right. What else have we got? We've done that one. We've done, right. What time are we on? Right, guys, I do have to close this one down relatively early because I've got quite a lot to do. And you guys kept me on the live stream last night for almost 2 hours. Home Secretary admits illegal immigration numbers still too high. Fucking hell. Right, listen to this sentence. Does this make any sense to you guys? illegal immigration numbers are still too high. Like 1 is too high. Listen, guys, do you know what I think they're going to do? I think they're just going to make it legal. I just think they're going to make it legal. I think they're just going to make it legal. Literally, like if you make coming to the United Kingdom on a small boat legal, you totally swindizzle the, you totally swindizzle the stats because you don't have to worry about them then. It's just legal. Yeah, we just got an open door. Shabina Mahmood announces sweeping changes across the UK's asylum seeking, including rowing back on guarantees of financial support. She actually didn't do that. What she said is, we will only give financial support for the first 2 years, and then it will be reviewed. So what do you think they're going to do, guys? What do you think they're going to do after those first 2 years? So now you've got all these people living in the hotels, gets to their 2-year point. What do you think is going to happen to them? Do you think they're just going to kick them out on the street and say, right, you're homeless now? What do you think is going to happen to the crime rate in that instance? Yeah, I've spoke about that, guys. Yeah, I've spoke about that. Right, we've got the rail. I want to talk quickly, guys. I want to jump over to Poland, Eastern Europe, because let's not forget that this thing's happening. It's still happening. We're still heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale. Railway bombings, an unprecedented act of sabotage, Poland's Prime Minister says. The blast on key railway networks used to transport weapons to Ukraine is the latest in a wave of attacks that have hit Poland and other European countries. So, we are going to get hit by like a double whammy in the United Kingdom. First of all, we are getting hit by masses and masses and masses of uncontrolled. I mean, I can't feasibly call this migration because it's not. Like, I don't want to use the word invasion either, but I can't think of a better word. So these masses of people coming over, like, and again, this is a question. Do you think they could be used as bad guys in World War III? Do you think those masses of migrants that are coming over, do you think somebody could pay them to either go stabby, stabby, rammy, rammy, blowy, blowy, cutty, cutty, or fiery, fiery, or burny, burny? I would say it would be very easy to get those people to do that. And if you guys were on the live stream the other night when I was sharing the David Betts podcast, he was saying it's easier to get people to break stuff than get people to get. It's so cold in here. It's easier to get people to break stuff than to get people to break people. So I would say we are going to get a spate of things being set on fire, things being broken. This would lead to system destruction because our infrastructure in the United Kingdom, guys, it is not guarded. It's not guarded, and it can never be guarded. That's the reality. We live in a high, we used to live in a high trust society whereby you're not going to go and burn down your local substation because that's going to take your electricity down, right? Yeah, and you kind of want that. And if you burn down your local electricity station, you know they've got to rebuild that, and you know your taxes are going to go up, right? Because, you know, your electricity bill is going to go up because they've had to rebuild that electricity substation, right? It makes sense, perfect sense. But guess what? You know, if you're not paying your electricity bill, you don't give a flying fuck. You don't. Yeah, I'll burn it down. I'm not paying. Why not? Whatever. I get $5,000 to burn it down. Yeah, I'm going to go and burn it down. You know, you can do things like attack the food sources, contaminate food sources, contaminate water sources. Because guess what? You're not paying for your food. You're not paying for your water. You don't care. It's not your shit. Anyway, right. Let me get the chat, guys, and then I'm gonna swizzle this down. Right, where are we? Let me just jump up and get some of these chats. Martin Quinn is saying, if I took a boat trick out to pop the migrant boats, do I get a tax rebate? Well, you know, I mean, the argument, I feel it's a strong argument, all right? If you've got 10 migrants on a boat, that's a potential £250,000, right? Yeah? Tell me I'm wrong. What we're talking about there, you know, 10 migrants coming over and we pay them all £25,000 to leave, that's £250,000. You know, if you go over to France and pop that dinghy, you know, I think there's a fair, you know, I think there's a fair, you know, I think there's a fair argument that you should have some cash incentive. Obviously, you'd need to get that written in a contract with, you know, Serco or whoever. Kenzo Lima is saying £25,000 for leaving shows how out of touch MPs are, where the annual wage in, say, Ethiopia is £500 needs to be a sliding scale. I agree. It's ridiculous. I'd say it does. It does need to be a sliding scale, and the sliding scale needs to be this: 0. We pay you 0 to leave. We arrest you, come into the United Kingdom, and you get put straight into prison for breaking into the country. That's it. Literally, that's it. You know, that is it. Or we just stop flim-flammering, stop trying to even deal with it, and just, you know, just admit it. Say, yeah, anybody come to the United Kingdom. Just anybody come. Just anybody come. Book yourself into an hotel and the government will pay the bill. Like, why are we even bothering? Why are we even bothering pretending, guys? You know, it's ridiculous. Sean, have you spoke to Black Belt government reference a framework of law for a treasonous government? No, I've not. It's very difficult to get in touch with these people. You know, he has a massive channel and he'll have loads of messages. So I've not. No, I've not. But that is ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going right now. And the only way out, like, if we had that, you know, if we had that legal framework to, you know, if we had that, like right now, guys, if we had that legal framework to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, the Bell Hotel in Epping, right? That's the perfect example. I used to give the example of like firstborn kids, but I think the Bell Hotel is a better example because it's real. So the people in Epping wanted that hotel closed, all right? It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a hotel closed, whether it's a, I don't know, 5G tower, whether it's CCTV cameras on the corner of buildings, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But in this instance, we're talking about the Bell Hotel in Epping. So the people of Epping, quite rightly, and you know, and whether it's right or not, it's not for us to decide. It's for those people of Epping to decide what they want to do. You know. So the Bell Hotel in Epping, the people didn't want that hotel operating anymore and taking migrants, okay? So the local council had a vote and they agreed unanimously. They said, yeah, we don't want this hotel either. You know, we listen to our people. We don't want this hotel operating. Okay, fine. The local representative, the local government representative, the local MP agreed. We want this hotel closing. Guess what? The hotel stays open because the government say it stays open. Now, that is a perfect example of how we, and nothing now, and nothing. You can't do anything. You do nothing, you know. And everybody's flim-flammering about pass this legislation, pass this legislation. It's all bullshit. The one piece of legislation we need is a framework to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. Because then what happens is we say, okay, this is against our rights because we want this closed. Our rights now supersede the police because we're taking charge, and the people of Epping then close that hotel down because they have the legal framework to do that. And everything else comes from that, guys. Everything else comes from that. Nothing else comes without it, and everything comes from it. Donna Hook is saying an Al-Qaeda militant cell sought to poison London's water supplies but were thwarted by the security services. A former terrorism minister has revealed details of a foiled 2008 extremist attack. Yeah. You know what? I was still in the military at that time, actually. I remember at that time, guys, and I can only assume it's the same, the security forces were absolutely stretched to an absolute swizzle. Like, you were going from one job to another job to another job. They'd even called in the military because they didn't have enough manpower. They didn't have the they didn't have the armed counter-terrorism teams that were capable of doing this stuff, so they had to call the military in to assist them on the ground in the United Kingdom. Yeah, exactly, guys. Exactly. It just takes one hotel to defeat everyone. And that's where they were going. That's where they're going. Martin Quinn is saying the hotel at Barnsley Turnoff by the M1 reminds me of the film Black Hawk Down. Okay, there should be a helicopter in the car park. It's a great movie, Black Hawk Down. Fantastic movie. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I am going to close this one down relatively early today. I've got an absolute ton of stuff to do. I've got to go and get gas bottles exchanged. I've got to go to the store. I've got to get some beer bottles. I've got 50 litres of beer I need to get out of fermenter and put into kegs and bottles and then bottle finish that. What else have I got to do? I've got to do some paid work. I've got to send some invoices. I've got to keep the fire going. I've got to bring I've got to bring a load of wood in because I don't want any wood to get snowed on. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to, I'm going to close this down. I'll be back on later. Just the crux of this live stream, guys. Okay, things are going to get worse. Just before I go, keep that in the back of your mind, how out of touch this government is. If I don't know any other way around this, guys, okay? But if by paying somebody £25,000 to leave, they think that is a deterrent, I don't know what they would class as an incentive. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now, and I will see you later tonight at 8. And I may be in the house at 8 because it's absolutely freezing, and I'm thinking about my heating situation. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later, and I bid you good morning.